Gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have abducted 12 passengers traveling on a Toyota bus along the Okene-Auchi road in Kogi State. The attack happened on Friday when the passengers, who were returning from Abuja to Benin City in Edo State, ran into an ambush. Local sources say the victims include newly called to bar lawyers traveling home after the ceremony in Abuja. Eyewitnesses reported that the armed men, dressed in military camouflage, intercepted a Toyota Hiace bus belonging to Big Joe Ventures Limited at Tyre village, Okene. The attackers forced victims into nearby bushes, but in a swift counter-operation, the Okene DPO CSP Nasir Muhammad led a combined team of police, army, and vigilantes. 8 victims, including the driver, were rescued unharmed, while efforts are underway to locate 4 remaining captives. News Central TV will monitor developments. Joining us live is News Central correspondent BalaGbogbo to give us an update on the current situation. Mono, can you give us a brief? What's going on? What's the latest news on this situation?
Well, of course, it's a positive one. Of course, from the reports that you just gave regarding the abduction along the Okene-Auchi road, the security in the state responded swiftly, and of course, they were able to rescue 8 out of 12. So the people that are remaining now that need to be rescued, the number is 4. I spoke with the police PRO earlier today, and that was what he told me. So at Kogi East, that's the local government area, Isonlu to be precise, that's the community where the governor spoke just a few hours ago, and he reiterated the fact that everybody in the state should keep calm and that they are doing all they can to fish out those who are responsible for some of these abductions and insecurity generally in the state. And he said some quite interesting things. Of course, from the soundbite you just heard, he talked about the fact that insecurity in the state is being filled as a result of illegal mining. There's some people who pretend to be investors. They come into some of these communities seeking to invest, and then they buy lands, but all they want to do is to cut away the minerals in the state. And the governor said he is well aware of this, and that the people should also cooperate with security operatives so that they can crack down on some of these persons who are disguising as investors to actually reduce the level of insecurity in the state. And he also talks about politics. Of course, in the build up to the 2027 elections, politicians are always making this rhetoric that their opponents are trying to, do and undo just to paint the government in a bad light. And the governor made reference to the fact that people should not be deceived that election season is just around the corner, and that is why some of the challenges we've been seeing in terms of insecurity in the state is still lingering. And he's calling for cooperation. And I think with that, hopefully we'll get to see a reduction in the level of insecurity in the state. Just a few days back, I was with the Commissioner for Police, and he talked about the synergy that they have in Kogi State. And he said out of all the states that he has served in that capacity as Commissioner for Police in Kogi State, he boasted of the fact that there is synergy between the military, the police, and also all the security operatives, and that they are doing all that they can to actually clamp down on insecurity in the state.
All right, Mono.
But he did not make reference. Okay.
All right, Mono, so speaking of the synergy, now how are security agencies coordinating with transport companies to prevent future attacks on passengers? Have you been able to get a hold on that information?
Well, I'm still, from what I've been able to gather, the challenge with these abductions is tied, or permit me to use the word, correlated with bad roads. And some of these roads are federal government roads. I recall that the first time that we traveled out of the state capital, that was a few days ago, we went out to look at some of the projects. The government invited journalists from all across the board to come monitor some of the infrastructural development in the state. And I've come to discover that most of the roads where you have these abductions are federal government roads. So when you have roads that are bad, what happens? You find that commuters don't ply some of those roads, and you don't have much traffic on those roads. So those who now ply those roads, they become targets, easy targets for some of these bandits who take advantage of the fact that some of these roads are bad, and then it is easy to just abduct someone, knowing fully well when you wait for the next 10 minutes before another car will come or before another car will pass. So that is the loophole now that the state government is dealing with. So that is the challenge. And you look at the resources that is available at the federal level in terms of the deployment of police officers. Even while we were going to Isonlu today, there were security checkpoints all across the road. Perhaps that could be as a result of the fact that the governor is actually going to Isonlu for a particular function. So, but if we have more police officers deployed across some of these roads, perhaps that will also help the situation. But that is just the challenge that the state is dealing with. So you look at some of these hotspots. Just one thing that is very common with these roads is bad road infrastructure. You look at the Lokoja-Abuja Expressway, it's the same problem. You look at the Okene-Auchi, the road that links Kogi State to Edo State, that's also a problem. We also look at the road, the one that we plied earlier today from Lokoja to Kwara State, which extends to Kogi East, which links up with Kwara State. So this is the major problem. So from my observations, this is going to be much more than what the state government can do, because the state government earlier today was calling on, residents in the state to stop selling lands. And he made a proclamation just a few hours ago. He said anybody who is caught selling land to bandits or selling foods to bandits, those people will be treated like a criminal. That was the governor's words earlier today. So that is also the problem. So, Chairman, you discover that even as Nigerians, we seem not to be helping ourselves, because you look at the police officers. I've seen firsthand what they do. You look at the past killings in Kogi State. They've been police officers. Police officers were killed in Ebe. Police officers were killed in Kaba. And you see that there is a pattern here. The pattern is to amass weapons. Amass weapons.
All right. Thank you very much for...
Builds up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue, go ahead.
All right, Chairman. Okay, yeah, so you look at the trajectory here and you see the pattern whereby police officers are the ones that are being killed. And you can also see how sweet the police officers, in this particular case, when that incident happened, the police force in Okene had to step up immediately in cooperation, like I talked about, the synergy that the Commissioner of Police was boasting of. They had to go and attack immediately. And out of the 12 persons that were abducted, 8 of them were rescued and 4 of them, and according to the statement of the PRO, I spoke with him on the phone earlier today, and he told me that right now they're on the ground ensuring that the 4 persons who remain are actually rescued. So we'll be watching out for that update, and we will report it as soon as we get that information. So it's a bigger problem. You see, illegal mining, that is another link to insecurity in the state. And the government said this is where the people in the state will have to come with the government in terms of giving out information, early intelligence information. It will actually help. And I want to make reference, Chairman, to a particular, we were going to Kogi East. That's Abduction. It is under one local government area in Kogi East. While we crossed the particular part, I saw somebody on a bike, and he was carrying food in a leather bag, and then he was on bike and he was driving straight into a lonely road path, and then all of a sudden it seemed as if we could not see him again. And then I and my colleagues, my fellow journalists who were going on that particular trip, we were asking ourselves the question, where is this person? We know for a certain that he is taking food. So where is he taking the food to? And the governor also made mention of that you have some residents who are taking foodstuffs to people in the bush, also supplying them with fuel. And this is a major problem. And something has to be done about it.
All right, thank you very much for that detailed update. That was News Central TV correspondent Mono BalaGbogbo. Thank you so much.